Welcome back to another reaction video, man. Today I'm reacting to another Muay Thai MMA video. Says the brutal world of child Muay Thai, Rodtang and Stamp Fairtex. So without wasting more time, let's watch this together, man. Yeah.
Children as young as 7 are regularly paid to fight.
There are over 30,000 child boxers in Thailand, all fighting for money, glory, and competition. This is the story of two of them, the king and queen of one championship. They are the fiercest combat athletes from the East, and their journey encapsulates everything Muay Thai culture stands for, from struggle, sacrifice, and eminence. The dark twists and turns of their careers tells a tale of what it means to be a child of Muay Thai.
22-year-old Ironman Rodtang.
He had his first fight when he was 8 years old, moved to Bangkok when he was 14 to join the Muay gym. At the time when he signed with One, his record was 250, 40 and 10 is his professional Muay Thai record.
This man is an absolute machine. He's a whirling dervish.
He's such a veteran of the fight game, which is crazy considering he's 23 years old.
Rodtang, the Iron Man. In such a short career, he had become synonymous with the sport of Muay Thai. And his story, much like many practitioners of this sport, began at age 8. Thailand lives and breathes the art of 8 limbs. For many, it is a crucible to prove strength and courage. For others, it is a mean of defense. But for Rodtang, it was a platform to pull his family out of poverty. Rather than a life of labor, farming, or in a factory, Rodtang knew that a devotion to combat would be his means of clawing his way out. The greatest Muay Thai fighters often start training and competing from a very early age, their training regimes often extending for hours on end. This ruthless training produces fearless combatants, and for Rodtang, that passion for concentrated violence flowed through his veins from birth. And by his teenage years, Rodtang had become a merciless practitioner of the sport. And with each fight and each win, Rodtang's name would begin to circulate on the regional scene, whispers of a terrifying opponent on the rise. For men in this sport, training in Muay Thai is almost a cultural expectation, but for females, they endure a far harder social pressure. When we look at the pantheon of female athletes that One Championship, the premier organization in the East, showcases, it might be easy to assume that their path to the pinnacle of their respective sports was easy, but Stamp Fairtex's journey to the top provides a rather different perspective.
ส่วนมากคือเราตัวเล็กก็ตอนอนุบาล3ค่ะก็เราจะโดนแกล้งไปเราก็กลัวเพราะเขาตัวใหญ่กว่าก็เลยมาฝึกมวยกับพี่กับพ่อเพราะว่าเห็นพี่เขาต่อยก็เลยอยากจะต่อยด้วย
Stamp had chosen to walk the path of combat with the intentions of defending herself from bullies. What had transpired instead was the discovery of an incredible talent, one that was crafted and honed under the guidance of her father and a relentless training regime. Her father was a local legend. His Muay Thai career was lengthy and storied, but he left it behind after the birth of his children and instead pursued a career in farming. Unlike Rodtang, Muay Thai was not the only means of survival for Stamp. She instead wished to do it to live up to her father's legacy and to defend herself. Her skills would see her rise to become champion of her weight class, one which she would continue to dominate in until eventually running out of competition.
ต่อยแล้วก็ต่อยไปเรื่อยๆจนแบบไม่มีตัวต่อยก็ต้องต่อยกับผู้ชายก็พอเราชนะก็
Hey, mein Name ist Julian, ich bin einer der Gründer von der Solacon GmbH. Solacon ist einer der führenden Anbieter.
เหมือนแบบมีคนชื่นชมเราแล้วก็เราต่อยแล้วจนไม่มีคู่ต่อยก็คือเลิกเพราะว่าในมวยไทยผู้หญิงต่อยมวยมันก็เป็นเรื่องที่แบบไม่ค่อยยอมรับค่ะผู้หญิงเป็นเพศที่ต้องอ่อนแอต้องกุลสตรีแล้วคือถ้ามาต่อยมวยก็คือผู้หญิงทุกคนมาต่อยมวยก็คือด้วยความชอบค่ะอยากจะสร้างชื่อเสียงให้กับตัวเองแต่ว่าในสังคมเขาก็ไม่ค่อยอยาก
If you want to see Stamp's childhood documented by filmmaker Todd
Guys, for those of you don't know, Muay Thai is a huge sport in Thailand. Just like boxing is in the United States, and mixed martial art and the NBA, just like that. Muay Thai is also a huge sport in Thailand, man, and they start with it at a very young age.
Kelstein, where you can see her early fights and life growing up, then check the link in the description. It's an incredible piece, and it's kind of unreal that someone had documented her from the age of 6. But for Stamp, the dream of becoming a legendary Muay Thai fighter and following in her father's footsteps was put on hold. The culture of Thailand pushed back against Stamp's aspirations. The message was clear: there is no place for female martial artists in Thailand. A pill that was certainly hard to swallow. Stamp would hang up her gloves and turn to studies, heading to university. But turning her back on Muay Thai in her mind was only a temporary measure. She remained hopeful that one day she would return to the sport. While Stamp moved away for her studies, Rodtang had begun to make quite the name for himself, becoming one of the most highly touted Muay Thai practitioners in the country. And at such a young age, his record had already surpassed 200 wins in the sport, a nearly impossible number of fights to comprehend. And the more astonishing fact was that in almost every outing, he was dominating and terrifying in equal measures. Rodtang had shown the world his undeniable prowess for the sport. Needless to say, his tenacity for the sport had caught the attention of One Championship, who were quick to offer him an opportunity to fight inside the circle. And from there, he would not disappoint his home nation of Thailand, as he proceeded to put on devastating performance after devastating performance. Whilst Rodtang was paving the way for a rise in One Championship, his eyes firmly set on the Muay Thai World Championship, things had started to shift in Thailand. A change in perception that was allowing for doors to open for female athletes to compete. Stamp would jump at the opportunity to give her all to the sport that she had loved.
ตอนนี้คือมีผู้หญิงเยอะค่ะแต่ว่าสมัยเด็กๆก็คือยังไม่ค่อยมี
Her performances inside of the cage and her lengthy history as a child athlete had caught the attention of renowned martial arts gym, Fairtex. Their coaches were looking for a talented combat sports athlete to recruit as their first professional female athlete. Not only was Stamp clearly the practitioner to fit the bill, but her aspirations aligned perfectly with what the gym had in mind, a female to dominate at the top level in multiple sports, but in particular, creating from the ground up an MMA superstar. It was during this time that Rich Franklin, who was shooting his One Warrior series, would stumble across the gym, and there was one athlete who caught his eye.
Because it was almost like live, and he was just looking for the holes that she needed to fix, and it was very smart training.
Rich Franklin would offer Stamp the opportunity to fulfill her dreams by competing on the One Warrior series, which would offer her a contract with One Championship. And for Stamp, there was no better place to prove what female athletes were capable of than in the circle of One. But standing in her way was her MMA debut in front of Franklin, a man who she had to impress to earn the contract and a chance to compete in One, an organisation that was more than happy to place a female on one of the grandest stages on earth and to provide a platform to showcase their skills, heart and passion. The pressure doesn't get any more palpable than the position Stamp had put herself in. Fairtex Gym's name was on the line, and her mission to inspire female athletes the world over rested on this moment. I just don't think anyone was prepared for how fast she was about to propel to the top.
But do not throw out the ring. Clean fight, clean fight. Let's go. Ready, go!
Yeah, that was quick. Yeah, that was really quick, man.
Stamp had already in such a short time cemented her spot as one of the most talented female combat athletes in the East. But Stamp's dream of becoming a role model for female fighters in the East was not about to end there. Her next fight in one would be for a second title in a second sport. This time she was fighting for the opportunity to become one's atomweight Muay Thai champion and to fulfill that mission to live up to her father's legacy.
Let's do this.
Let's do this. Stamp.
ก็หนูรู้สึกภูมิใจค่ะ เพราะว่าหนูเริ่มต้นจากไม่มีอะไรมาก่อน หนูก็ฝึกฝนฝึกหนักทุกวันในตลอด 12 ปีที่ผ่านมา แล้วจนวันนี้หนูก็ได้เป็นแชมป์ตามที่หนูหวัง แล้วหนูก็เชื่อว่าชีวิตหนูเปลี่ยนไปค่ะ แล้วหนูก็คิดว่าหนูสามารถที่จะสร้างแรงบันดาลใจให้กับหลายๆคนได้ค่ะ
Stamp's return to combat sports under the guidance of Fairtex Gym had defied expectations. From a brutal 19-second KO in her MMA debut after being scouted by Rich Franklin, to winning the kickboxing world championship in her promotional debut, to becoming a two-sport world champion after claiming the Muay Thai world title in emphatic fashion, Stamp had somewhat completed her mission of inspiring women combat athletes that the fulfillment of a dream is possible and that the barriers of social norms and stereotypes can be broken down with enough tenacity and determination. 2 world titles would be enough for most athletes, but Stamp and Fairtex had their eyes on one more title and one more sport to dominate, the conquering of mixed martial arts, a feat that if accomplished would transcend Stamp into greatness. With only one fight under her belt in the sport, it was time to rack up more wins and move towards earning a shot against the current MMA champion.
By unanimous decision, Stamp!
Rodtang, who had been chipping away at the competition, had finally earned his shot at the One Championship flyweight Muay Thai world title, but standing in front of him was an English powerhouse of a Muay Thai fighter in the form of the current champion, Jonathan Haggerty. And Stamp was also looking at taking her record to an undefeated 4-0 in MMA by taking on her toughest opponent to date. These two athletes that had come from very little were about to show the world what is possible when giving everything to a singular dream.
Haggerty, and there's the push kick.
Knockdown changed it though. You can change it.
Well, double 4-ounce count is high. These 4-ounce counts, oh, Haggerty tags it, and now good takes time.
She needs to punch that down, make her work.
Felix, I brought dinner.
Mit der köstlichen Vielfalt von Felix ist es großartig, eine Katze zu sein.
Bist du immer zu spät?
Both Stamp and Rodtang had climbed to the top of one, their lives almost mirror images reflecting back at each other. From the depths of poverty all the way to the glory of becoming world champions. I doubt they could have ever dreamed of the success and riches that they would have earned in their already Hall of Fame earning careers. A staggering feat considering both of them were under the age of 25. With so much potential for both of these competitors, it was hard to imagine where they could end up by the end of their careers. But in the midst of each of their soaring rise to the top, the world was about to change just a little.
Outside one of Bangkok's famous Thai boxing stadiums, a makeshift coronavirus testing clinic has been set up. It's for fighters, spectators and anyone else who was here in recent days, as the number of cases surged in Thailand, including a cluster at another boxing stadium across town. The Prime Minister has ordered entertainment venues and bars to close for 2 weeks.
At the start of the pandemic, lockdown would smother Thailand into stillness, and as the world fractured into isolation, fate would push two unlikely people towards each other. Two athletes who had come from nothing and risen into stardom with one would cross paths at a rather strange time.
ก็ตั้งแต่ปิดโควิดก็ผมได้ไปอยู่บ้านสแตมครับก็เราก็ไปเหมือนไปดูสวนทุเรียนไปอะไรเนี้ยไปพักผ่อนอยู่ที่บ้านใช่ครับแล้วก็ซ้อม2 คนอยู่ที่บ้านอะไรประมาณนี้ครับซ้อมจนก็เปิดน็อกดาวน์ก็กลับมาแฟร์เทคก็สำหรับที่เก็บตัวกับรถถังนะคะก็มันต่างกันตรงที่ว่าคือเขาเป็นคนจี้เราแล้วเขามองเห็นจุดอ่อนเรา
At a time where the world was full of uncertainty and families were being kept apart, Rodtang and Stamp had fallen in love. Together they trained and cared for each other, a powerhouse of a couple that were destined to rule over one.
ครับก็ตั้งแต่มาอยู่
Really? They end up falling in love, man. Okay, this is a power couple. Guys, a power couple.
ซ้อมกับสแตมก็ต่างคนต่างก็ซ้อมตั้งใจผมก็พยายามคอยสอนเขาต่างคนต่างสอนอะไรประมาณนี้ครับเรื่องวิชาการอะไรพวกนี้แล้วก็วิ่งด้วยกันอะไรด้วยกันออกกำลังกายด้วยกันก็ครับอยู่ใกล้กันก็ดีอย่างครับครับผมก็เมื่อก่อนที่ยังไม่มีพี่รถถังใช่ไหมคะก็เราก็ซ้อมของเราปกตินั่นแหละแต่พอพี่รถถังเข้ามาคือพี่รถถังจะเป็นคนแบบว่าเทรนในเรื่องการซ้อมบอกในเรื่องอาวุธอะไรพวกนี้เป็นกำลังใจเหมือนยาใจอีกชนิดหนึ่งที่ทำให้เรามีกำลังใจค่ะ
It was a beautiful and poignant moment in each of their lives, and I'm sure that together they would have felt unstoppable, gold and leather draped on their shoulders and ready to climb even further into greatness. But that isn't how the universe works, and in its strange and fickle way, a story as old as time would repeat itself, incredible highs that get matched with a devastating downfall.
He lost. Don't tell me she lost.
Your winner by split decision and
Oh my God.
Super Series Atomweight Muay Thai World Champion.
Over the course of 8 months, Stamp had lost both of her titles, and that wouldn't be all life dealt her. The closing of the year would also see the end of Stamp's and Rodtang's time together, another blow. But as 2021 dawned, Stamp would attempt to cling on to her undefeated MMA career.
A new year, a new hairstyle, a new dance, and she says she's an all-new Stamp Fairtex dragon into the final 10 seconds. Now this is Russell Hinger's opportunity. Stamp Fairtex gonna survive if he wants to know. She taps her! She taps her! She taps her!
Oh, I don't know. What was that? She thinks she did a tap. She thought the bell sounded. Oh, what happened?
For your winner, by way of submission,
And just like that, the cruel game these athletes play would have the gold and leather dissipate, loss after loss. Stamp over the course of 1 year lost a man she had ruled over one with, went from being an undefeated mixed martial artist on a crash course to the top of the women's atomweight throne, and a simultaneous kickboxing and Muay Thai atomweight world champion, to nothing. A cruel and devastating...
What do you mean to nothing, bro? She is still a legend, man. She have done it all, win all the titles there is. She will come back. I hope she does.
Fall, but ultimately a feeling that she had felt many times previously from a childhood of combat. And so the question was, what would these lessons dealt in defeat afford Stamp, and would she return to the fight game the same? Years of dominating multiple sports can do many things to an individual's frame of mind. That slide from being almost unstoppable down to being defeated at every turn surely would be enough to ruin any athlete's trajectory. Well, time would bring the answers, but Stamp would remain sidelined, licking her wounds, anticipating a return. Rodtang, on the other hand, had experienced a rather different tale. His relentless pursuit of greatness had continued, unmatched.
Nice striking to the back of the head, to the groin. Be strong, be fair, obey my instructions all the time. Nice gloves, good luck, let's go.
Man, he is always going forward. Always going forward. He is never going backward. And he takes the blows like crazy.
Rodtang had continued his undefeated tenure inside the circle of one championship, putting on electrifying performances against the likes of Jonathan Haggerty a second time, Petcher Dam and Tayer. And although himself and Stamp's career had taken drastically different turns, the fact was a win or defeat on this stage was still worlds away from that comfortless poverty that Rodtang had clawed his way out of. His rise to become one of the most dominant Muay Thai fighters on earth provided him the ability to be able to do things that wouldn't have been possible if he had not taken the risk to pursue a career in combat. During Rodtang's title run, eliminating the top contenders on planet Earth, he would receive haunting news. His father had been diagnosed with stage 3 cancer. If not for a childhood of hard-to-imagine dedication to the grueling world of combat, the chances are Rodtang would have been powerless to provide the unnecessary care for his father. Not only that, Rodtang was also able to buy his parents a beautiful family home. It just shows that skill, talent and zeal, all directed toward an athletic cause, can give those who would be directionless without competition a way to survive, to give and to be
Man, that's what every man here want to do, man. They so want to build a very good home for their family, man.
Remembered in the history books. Muay Thai may be just a sport, but it is also a force for good in so many of these combatants' lives. Rodtang was on top of the world, polar opposites of the other protagonist of this story. At the start of the year, Stamp was on the tail end of one of the cruelest declines one championship had ever seen. And even after losing everything, she remained hopeful of her goal of becoming a mixed martial arts world champion. And in the murk of one of the lowest moments of her career, a light would split the darkness. One championship would announce a 3-stage women's atomweight Grand Prix starting halfway through the year. The winner would not only obtain the Grand Prix belt, but also the promise to have the opportunity to take the crown from the women's atomweight champion. Not only was Stamp selected as a participant of this tournament, she would also have her shot at revenge, taking on Aliona in a rematch, a chance to settle the controversial ending of their first bout.
Next up is a rematch. We've got Rasahina against Stamp Fairtex. So the first time around, Stamp, in my opinion, dominated most of the fight, but Rasahina was able to catch her in a guillotine in the last 10 seconds. So this is the rematch.
ก็คิดว่าจะป้องกันอาร์มบาร์เหมือนเดิมค่ะเพราะว่าเขาลูกเก่งของเขาคืออาร์มบาร์แล้วก็ทุกๆอย่างที่มีในแมตช์ที่แล้วก็จะเสริมมากกว่าเดิมค่ะ
Obey my instructions at all times. Punch gloves if you want, back to your corner.
Because now will determine who goes through to the semi-finals. Standing guillotine attempt from Rasahina. The armbar from Rasahina. Can she take it home? Stamp's in trouble. Stamp fighting against them, fighting some survival in this tournament.
Circles around and then ends up on top.
Take some punishment now. Take some damage to the side of the face.
Calls this contest in favor of your winner,
Yeah!
Right.
Hey, sie ist back, man. Sie ist back.
Sie stecken prächtige Bouquets. Wir machen den Verkauf mühelos.
Here we go.
Remember never to give up, man. Remember never to give up.
Ladies and gentlemen, all three judges have called this contest in favor of your winner by unanimous decision, Stamp!
On December 3 in Singapore, Stamp versus Ritu Folgat in the World Grand Prix Championship final. Here we go.
Let's go, Stamp.
Ritu immediately tries to close the gap and look to take Stamp down. Stamp shrugs her off and keeps distance.
Does just that, gets deep onto a single. This is going to tell us a lot.
You gotta have
Stamp's
confidence,
trying to force
man.
that leg to the ground, defending with a possible guillotine as she backs her up into the wall.
And Ritu gets Stamp on her back. Ritu number 4 ranked atomweight. Stamp number 2 ranked atomweight. The champion Andrew Lee awaits the winner next year.
Yeah, Ritu uses him just as a disguise for that shot. There she goes. She gets that single leg. Now she's in the open. Let's see what she can do here. Stamp's trying to jump onto the back.
She got her. She got her. Stamp Fairtex subs out Ritu. Stamp Fairtex is the atomweight World Grand Prix champion. Stamp Fairtex will take on Andrew Lee.
Atomweight World Grand Prix champion,
At the end of it all, Stamp through blood and sweat had clawed her way to the pinnacle of her division, claiming the women's atomweight Grand Prix and avenging a controversial loss along the way. That Grand Prix proved that Stamp belonged at the top, and rightly had earned the opportunity to fight the queen of that division, a challenge that she more than welcomed.
Sorry. I don't play games.
One Championship was quick to put the Stamp and Lee fight together, and just over 3 months post a grueling Grand Prix, they were both booked to clash inside of the Circle of One. They would do so as the esteemed headliners of 1X, a card that would also book a never-seen-before super fight between the one and only Demetrius Johnson and Rodtang, a mixed rules competition, round 1 and 3 Muay Thai, favouring the Iron Man, and 2 and 4 MMA. It was a showcase of what one offers, and it was a matchup that promised an exciting and intriguing proposition. Could DJ, the touted greatest MMA fighter of all time, survive the rule set of Muay Thai with one of its greatest practitioners? As exciting as that matchup was, for me the main storyline was that this was Stamp's opportunity to fulfill that promise to Fairtex Gym, complete their goal of crafting and guiding an athlete to transcend multiple sports. This was Stamp's moment on the other side of all the setbacks that had plagued her for the last few years, a moment of potential greatness, one that would solidify her place in the history books forever. But standing in her way was Angela Lee, the undefeated atomweight queen.
I don't see her as a striker only. I do understand that is where her strength lies, but I know that she's coming into this fight as a well-rounded mixed martial artist.
ก็ตอนนี้ก็มั่นใจ 100% ค่ะแต่ก็ขึ้นอยู่กับรูปเกมข้างบนค่ะว่าจะออกมายังไงก็สำหรับแตมสู้เต็มที่ค่ะเพราะว่าอยากจะเอาเข็มขัดกับประเทศไทยด้วยค่ะ
Rodtang, he's one of the best in the world in Muay Thai, and when we accepted this fight, you know, I had a big smile on my face. I'm like, I'm gonna get a chance to fight Rodtang.
With that, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for all of your questions. I know plenty of you had more questions to ask. Believe me, they will be answered this Saturday, come March 26th at 1X.
This is where Stamp does a lot of good work, utilizing the elbows and the knees. The kick on Stamp. Angela's been hurt to the bottom before. Stamp jeopardized.
Oh, she's gonna win.
She's got that body lock. Stamp was able to... Done!
the knee.
See if she can stay upright. Oh no, a tornado wrenching takedown.
Oh boy, he got him. Oh, he's not gonna tap, man. God damn.
Ladies and gentlemen, your referee, Mr. Justin Brown, has called a stop to this contest for your
Stamp
winner.
Blues and Rodtang win. I mean, Dimitri is also on another level, man. He is a beast, bro. He is a beast, man. Stamp lost again. Oh man.
Two tremendous martial artists with so much respect for each other.
One championship has ultimately provided a platform to see the rise of Stamp and Rodtang's career, but nestled in amongst their highs are the often unavoidable lows that this game provides. Rodtang attempting the impossible, to beat the greatest at his own game in a show of courage and tenacity, and Stamp on her crusade to transcend the known limits of women's combat sports by becoming a 3-sport champion. It is those very dances with fire that make these athletes so much more inspiring, especially considering the grim circumstances that these fighters came from. That to me speaks of some otherworldly defiance, a defiance that Stamp and Rodtang would live and breathe. Shortly after falling short to Angela Lee, Stamp would enter the circle once again to take on Radzuan, a fight that she intended to dominate, cementing the fact that she belonged in the top echelon of the sport.
Be safe and defend, but look at that, nice little touches there by Jihin. You can see the little snarl that develops on Stamp's face. Action, Jihin's trying to keep her boxing. Nice and tight. She got caught. She's on her back.
She got caught, man.
Barrage from Stamp Fairtex. This is what we talked about. Jihin standing in front of her rather than pressing forward into that clinch.
Yeah.
Dein Lieblingspasta-Geschmack.
Yeah.
Plus High Protein.
Elbow got her.
Barilla Protein Plus. Jetzt probieren.
The elbow got her.
And Rodtang had bounced back from his first loss in the circle by continuing his illustrious undefeated Muay Thai career, showcasing why he is considered one of the most entertaining fighters to watch in the world.
Man, catch to the 2-punch. Got to go for it.
Rodtang opens up with the elbows again. Smith it backed up here. Here's tasting the true power of Rodtang. Big elbow.
As everyone knows, I fought last night on one championship against Rodtang.
He gets out of the way of the fast left hook. Up
I lost every round, convincingly.
Yeah.
Last night I was embarrassed.
And just like that, both of these fighters who fell in and out of love, who had competed together on so many fight nights showcasing their extraordinary skills, had once again graced one championship's main card together, this time in the US back in May. It was one's first venture into the land of the free, and was widely considered a turning point for a lot of these fighters who have fought overseas for so long, hidden from the West, and now they have had the opportunity to showcase their talent in front of a live Western crowd in Denver. Those who missed their ascension got to see for the first time a pivotal chapter in these remarkable athletes' careers. Rodtang once again put on a devastating performance, finishing Tabares in the second round.
Here on the fence. Oh, wow.
And Stamp had finally earned herself a shot at the title by emphatically defeating Elise Anderson. And now, on September 1st, Stamp will take on Ham So-hee for the interim title as Angela Lee sits out. The event really showed that ONE is a leading organisation that puts the fans first and is quickly cementing their place as the premier organisation for all combat sports. But ultimately, I think it's important to remember that as fight fans, and certainly those that want a story to be told, the romanticisation, glorification and convolution of these athletes' journeys from brawls in childhood competitions to the biggest stage imaginable is that is the thin veneer covering the grueling level of training and dedication these athletes sacrifice their lives to. When we see Stamp and Rodtang walk down the ramp, we are seeing a dream manifested, a flicker in the eye of a young 6-year-old Thai boxer with a dream to have a more fulfilling life, one that is found through talent and sheer resolve. 30,000 children all vying for an exit, and we get to see the ones who inspire that generation, showing that Muay Thai is a viable avenue to success. It's not luck or a miracle that has brought them here, it's sacrifice, it's relentless training and dedication, it's some of the most taxing circumstances a child can voluntarily endure. A combination of hard to imagine conditions that in some odd twist of fate has spewed out champions. It's a blessing we get to see these stories play out in real time. The hope of a young athlete, a village, a family, all working tirelessly for a life with so much more meaning that has finally been realised. And so the next time Stamp and Rodtang enter the ring, what we are witnessing is two fighters show thousands of children in their home country that the dream held on by just a thread is possible. That is what it means to be a child of Muay Thai.
Yeah, man. That is the documentary on the brutal world of child Muay Thai, Rodtang and Stamp Fairtex. They're such a fierce fighters, man. They have their downfalls, their greatest moments, and all that. But that's life, man. At some point, you're considered the greatest fighter of all time, and then you come to a point where everything is falling apart. Love, relationships, family, all that. But man, these people are fierce. You can tell. This is a wonderful documentary for sure.